Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Juicy. We're talking about the Baton Rouge Super Regional. LSU taking on West Virginia. LSU coming off a regional win, taking home the Baton Rouge Regional Championship over Little Rock, um,
and Dallas Baptist and
Dallas Baptist, and what
Rhode
was the
Island,
last?
which they never
Rhode
played.
Island. Yeah, I was trying
Who
to
they
remember
never
what all four
played.
teams were in there because I feel like me and Juicy been talking about nothing but Little Rock last couple of days. Which man, dude, they deserve a round of applause though. They put on a great performance in the Baton Rouge Regional. That is what I mean when a team can get hot at any time and beat anybody. Because
It
Little
just
Rock.
ran out of gas and they just ran into a buzzsaw. I
Yeah,
mean,
hey, that last game they were still in it. Like there was like if Ella, I don't know, Juicy, that would have went one more game. I don't know if LSU would have been able to hold on to it there that much because it looked really bad for LSU. If LSU wouldn't have beat them that first time they played against each other, it would have probably might have been a different story to be honest. Because I feel like Little Rock had to play a lot more games because they lost that game. They might have actually won that regional if they would have gotten that first win against LSU when they played each other. But look, Little Rock went on a run in their conference tournament, won the championship of their conference, and got in the regional and went on a run there. I mean, they were probably the most impressive team in that regional if you want to look at it. But like from comparison to expectation to what actually happened, they were easily the most impressive team. What you think, Juicy?
I would have to agree. I mean, they definitely exceeded expectations for sure. Didn't expect the four seed to get to the finals, but baseball is a funny game, and that's why it can be everybody's favorite game because you just never know. Really, ultimately, you just never know. It's a game of swing. It's crazy in baseball. One swing can change a whole season, a game, a series. It just never know sometimes.
Like in that last game with Ethan Fry hitting that 3-run double LSU got.
After Little Rock had
Af-
that 5-run second inning, which if LSU was going to go down like that, it might as well have been early in the game where they still had a chance to come back.
but I mean,
And
hey,
then
Fry.
Case and Evans was lights out. And then they finished off with Ianson, like just to make sure that nothing would start up for Little Rock.
So they're gonna be probably throwing me Kate Anderson probably Friday night. I would expect Ianson
At
to
least
come in
Ianson gets
Saturday.
plenty of rest because he ain't gonna have to pitch till Sunday now.
I mean, not Friday night, Saturday night. My bad. I'm all messed up because of these days and stuff. So
So
Saturday,
Ianson's
it's
gonna
a
get a
Saturday,
week
Sunday,
off.
Monday series. Yeah. Because the Monday I keep thinking was Sunday. Like all my days are all screwed up because of the baseball schedule.
Good
But
strategy to pitch your starting pitcher on 2 days rest. I mean, he only pitched an inning and a half, so I mean, it wasn't that many pitches he threw. He threw maybe like 20 pitches, but
yeah, I don't. Do you pitch Ianson on Saturday, Juicy, or do you go with Anderson?
I would probably go with Anderson. Honestly, go back to the normal rotation. Give Ianson that extra day since he pitched those he got those last 5 outs of that Little Rock game. I mean, he didn't throw that many pitches. You probably could pitch him on Saturday, but why not give him the extra day? I mean, he deserves it.
Yeah. So I think I'm not worried too much about pitching with LSU in terms of the starters. It's the bullpen I'm more worried about if we're looking at any weak points besides the offense. The offense for LSU,
But those starters can go like 7, 8 can go deep into the game
yeah,
though.
they can. That's the good thing about having a good pitcher with a lot of stamina. But the one thing with LSU is their offense can disappear at times. And that is a
It only disappeared once in Alex box. They scored pretty much a hefty amount of runs except for that one game against Little Rock.
but it only takes one time for that to happen though. Because
It does.
West Virginia, I mean, both these teams are gonna be playing to their strengths. It seems like if you look at West Virginia's record, they're a very good road team, and I talked about that last episode here. We were here with Jalen, me, you, and Jalen. the last episode here. But if you look at West Virginia, they play very good on the road. LSU's very good at home. So one of these are going to have to win out here at some point. Um, so the question I think becomes here, like Clemson, they got knocked out on regional. We saw a lot of regional hosts not even make it to their regional. We not even make it out of their regionals. Were you a little bit surprised by that, Juicy?
I kind of was. I mean, I was shocked that Vandy and Texas definitely for sure got knocked out. It was uh, it was definitely not a great weekend for SEC baseball hosts. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
I don't really care.
I seen
I'm
some
just glad
people.
LSU got out. I
I
don't
see,
care as long as LSU
I,
got out.
I seen some people online saying the SEC was overrated. They should have been seated that high and stuff. But it's kind of hard with baseball, according like from other sports. Football, you can kind of like make arguments. Though I would even say maybe the last 2 years the Big Ten's been a little bit
Baseball, you
better than
never
the
really
SEC.
truly know. I mean, four
Um,
seeds can win regionals. You just never know.
yeah, baseball is one of those hot and cold sports, basically. Like whenever you're cold, it can really mess you up. If your best player's cold, it's probably not going to end up well for you at all. But
I don't
like
care.
like
I'm just glad LSU got out. I care less what happens to everybody else.
so looking at like a sport like football and stuff, we can pretty much say that the SEC's dominance isn't as good as it used to be if you take into account like the number of national championships won the last 2 years. It's been, Big Ten winning the national championship the last 2 years, whereas that was commonplace for the SEC. So looking at the tournament performance by the conferences here in the NCAA tournament here, looking at winning percentage, independents have done the best, being 4-1. That's only one team that's an independent there. Missouri Valley, they went 3-1. Sunbelt went 6-2. Coastal making out their regional, and Southern Miss falling in their regional final to Miami. Whereas the SEC they had the most teams, obviously, so they got the biggest circle
Ole
on their
Miss, I
back.
know, got knocked out too.
I mean, not SEC had 13 teams make the tournament. They went 27-20 in those tournament games for a 57.5 winning percentage, which, if you look at it, over half of them won. I mean, they won over half their games in there. It wasn't as bad of a performance as like Conference USA, American East, Atlantic 10, Big South, the MAC. I'm looking at these big name conferences like the
Did the
Big Ten
Big
and Big
Ten
12.
have any baseball teams make the
The Big
tournament?
Ten had four teams make the postseason, but they went 6-6 in there for 500
Really?
record. And
Which four Big Ten teams made the regional?
Big 12 had eight teams in there. They went 11 and
Because the
12,
Big
which was
Ten's not a baseball. Because the Big Ten's not a baseball conference at all.
they wasn't really they're not a really good baseball conference, just in general from top to
So
bottom
I'm
here.
curious as to what four teams from the Big Ten made a regional.
So the four teams I wanted to, so they have this thing kind of weird. Let me look at their weekly schedule so I can kind of make sure that we have everybody kind of pulled up here to kind of see who made it through what there. Um, that
Oh, the
final.
Big
Oh,
Ten had USC, UCLA. I
yeah,
forget that
that's
they're Big Ten teams now too.
so USC was in there, UCLA, um, oh, not Oklahoma,
Oregon State, huh?
Nebraska was in there too. Oregon
Oh
State's not in
yeah,
they're not Big Ten. That's Oregon.
I keep forgetting USC and
Oregon.
UCLA
Yeah, it's kind of
help the Big
trippy.
Ten
What
out now. I forget. I keep
USC and Oregon is in the Big Ten. They were in the regionals. UCLA was in there too.
Yeah, but
Nebraska. So that's
none
their
of your
four.
traditional Big Ten teams are in there
Yeah,
though,
that's
like
their
Michigan,
four.
Ohio State. None of them.
That's their four teams
None
that
of
they had in there. So, just looking at it here, SEC did have a bad week, I would say in general, because everybody was expecting them to make it to the regional finals, which Texas didn't do. Kentucky looked like they had a chance to take the Clemson regional until they fell to West Virginia, which, we're talking about them on this podcast here. But, West Virginia looked pretty good in the Clemson regional here. Clemson, I do think like here's the thing about baseball. The most talented teams won't always win the game, which is the beauty of the sport. I think you see a lot of underdogs win games that way
The
in that
hottest team,
regard.
not the most talented team
Yeah, it's
necessarily.
all about being hot at the right time.
I
So,
mean, talent does have a certain aspect of it, but
well, yeah, of course, in any sport here. I mean, if you jump a little bit higher or like you have a little more power than the other guy coming up here. West Virginia, for you want to track live RPI, they're 26. Um, I wonder what the
what's the strength
predictor
of
is going to.
schedule? What's the strength of schedules look like
So the strength
compared?
of schedule for West Virginia, so like now just adding all the whole season together, their non-conference was 219, and they had a 90. They had the 93rd toughest strength of schedule
Overall, non-conference and
overall.
conference. Yeah,
That we're not talking about conference or anything here. Like so
and LSU, compare that to LSU.
so I'm not gonna get into LSU just yet here. Let's look at their path through the regional here real quick. They played their first game against Kentucky, ended up beating them 4-3. Then they ended up playing Clemson in the winners bracket game, beat them 9-6 here, which I still think Clemson's a little bit better, more overall team here. Better overall
But
team
West
here. So
Virginia went up
Kentucky,
2-0.
they ended up beating Kentucky 13-12, which ended Kentucky's run through that Clemson regional here. So, and Clemson got eliminated by Kentucky, so that ended all that run there. So, uh, it was like West Virginia made a lot of errors in that last Kentucky game. So,
Yeah, like 5 errors or something. I don't
so
know.
could that be a sign of them maybe like getting a little bit of the pressure to them, or that might just be a one-off game to them? I mean, more than likely you're going to lose your baseball game if you make 5 errors, but they were
Yeah,
able to.
didn't West Virginia have 5 errors in that game?
Yeah.
And
So
and that's one thing that LSU had. Oh yeah, well that's another aspect too. Well, I mean LSU has the advantage in field percentage for sure. Has a great defense
so
too.
looking back at West Virginia's run through their tournament here, they had 2 errors in that game against Clemson. So this they might have cleaned it up, but I don't know. Every mistake you make,
You
it's
certainly don't need to give
amplified.
a team like LSU an extra chance. Any extra chances if you're
Yeah.
trying to beat them,
So
sure.
back to what I was saying here. Every mistake you make in the NCAA tournament, whether it be baseball, softball, whatever sport you're playing, it's amplified because the talent that is in that the best 16 teams in the country are the 16 teams that are still there. They can survive. They got good ability. They're good enough to get to that point. So they're gonna make you pay for it if you're not careful. So with that being said here, and look, regardless or not, they gave up 12 runs to Kentucky. They had to get a 6-run eighth inning to win the game against Kentucky.
And errors will do that too. Will
Yeah,
allow
so
give extra momentum, extra base runners that shouldn't be there that got there. It
and
could be the difference between ending an inning or not.
West Virginia had two 6-run innings in that win against Kentucky. Um, Needless to say, looking at all their games here, West Virginia makes errors. They've made errors in every single regional
If
game
they
they've
want to
played.
beat LSU, I mean, if
They've
they want to
they've
have a
had
chance
two
to upset
errors.
LSU,
So in their first game against Kentucky, they had 2 errors. Clemson, they also had 2 errors, and then they had 5 errors against that game against Kentucky here.
oh,
So
they're not going to beat LSU if they sloppy like that. They're not
yeah,
giving
like
LSU too many
so
chances like
I'm
that.
not I'm not too impressed with their like this, errors of, you can make an error in a baseball game. It's human error. Like when you start adding 2, 3, 4 errors in there, you're kind of like, okay, let's kind of back off a
You're
little
giving
bit
this
here.
other team too many chances.
And yeah, that will create a problem, especially with this pitching staff that LSU's got, especially with Iacin and Anderson. LSU, I believe, in my opinion, have the best 1-2 punch in the country.
And if you throw Evans in there, 'cause he's been pretty solid quite a bit too.
Yeah, he's gonna be good for them later on. Like, I mean, next year he's gonna be asked to carry the load for LSU next year. But It's going to be they get an afternoon game, LSU, on Saturday at 2 o'clock, first pitch. I mean, 1 o'clock first pitch, I think, or two. Is it Central Time? I don't know if this one's Central Time or not. I'll have to go
I
look and
think it
see.
is.
But either way, they're playing Saturday afternoon. Um, it's going to be a very good game here. Now, I've seen some promise with Bear Jones. Okay, it started off with the base hit. Then he
He did
homered
have
later
two
in the
hits.
game.
He did have two hits in the game with the home
Yeah,
run.
so he might be waking up again, which is people are saying, "Oh, you need to bench him and stuff like that." You can't bench a player like Bear Jones. He's
No,
too
they
he's
all
too
go.
good to
No,
be benched.
every good player goes through a slump, and I know he's just having a rough time right now. But
Yeah, so he might be coming out of it though. I really think that Bear Jones is probably coming out of it, honestly, because you get a couple of hits that really ignites your game here. Ethan
hey,
Fry played very well.
Ethan Fry is on a been hitting the cover off the ball.
Yeah, he's been on a tear lately, so that's somebody that's going to be staying in the lineup and stuff here. Moving Bear Jones down the lineup, actually, I think helped him a little bit there. I wouldn't move him up in the lineup for their next card. I would keep him where he's at right now, just to kind of make
Let him
like,
kind of build some confidence up towards the
yeah,
bottom of the lineup a little bit.
yeah, because he's going to be like something to talk about for sure here. So looking at so they released some odds yesterday about who is the most likely team to win the 2025 College World Series. LSU has the best odds at plus 350.
I don't know, man. When they get away from Alex Box, I get a little bit nervous.
That's I said it, Juicy. They're gonna make it to Alex Box. I mean, not Alex Box. They already made it to Alex Box. They're gonna make it to Omaha if they play all these games at Alex Box, which I think they will win this series over West Virginia. It might go to a third game, but I
I think
I feel
LSU's
like
pitching just too much for him.
I think so too. The only thing that worries me about LSU would be like their hitting going cold because they have done that this year at
That's why they
times.
might lose one game because the hit might go cold, but it's not going to stay cold for two losses or whatever. It's not going to stay cold the whole series.
So with that being said here, so
But
they
I just
got
think LSU's pitching got too much of a buzzsaw at pitching to for West
so they
Virginia.
have the let's take a look here. Here's the teams playing in Super Regional. Miami taking on Louisville. Um, Florida State taking on Oregon State. Arizona taking on North Carolina. Coastal Carolina taking on Auburn. Let's see. Los Angeles Regional, you got UTSA taking on UCLA. And the Riders, man. What you think about the Riders, Juicy? Going to
Murray
Durham.
State, I know,
Yeah.
right? Good. Kudos to them. I think they were a 4 seed in that regional.
Hey, that's one of those teams though, like and they're playing Duke, West Virginia playing LSU, Tennessee taking
All I
on
can all I can reiterate is the beauty of baseball.
Tennessee taking on Arkansas there.
Oh,
Um,
good old SEC Super Regional.
so SEC's guaranteed to at least have one team in the World Series.
Didn't they play each other in the regular season? I think Tennessee and
I think
Arkansas.
they have. I have to go look back. I haven't been really following
I'm
it,
just
but
curious. I'm just curious to see since it's a SEC matchup.
but I mean, there's so much going on with these. It's been a crazy weekend for sure. For college baseball there, but who you think is the X factor, Juicy, in this upcoming series here? Or what LSU will lose this series if what happens, Juicy?
LSU will lose this series if their offense just completely flatlines. The pitching's gonna be studs no matter what, but if this offense just completely like lets the bottom fall out, they'll lose this series. But I just don't think that's likely. Not in Alex Box, at least.
So thinking of the 2023 team, this team's almost like an opposite of this team, of that team. The 25 team's kind of opposite. They're more small ball. They're not as gorilla ball as the 2023 team was. You got Dylan Cruz, Tommy Tanks, even Jared Jones was even on that staff there.
They got like 95 home runs as a team. Well, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that's still a fair amount, but it's not like they had
It's
like
not,
130 of them like in 20.
yeah, it's not nearly what how like the Gorilla Ball team they were in 23. Um, but is I mean, like if you look at the 23 pitching staff, there was question marks. We talked about that with the
There was
23
question
team.
mark, but they showed up like Thatcher Hurd and
Yeah, because
showed up.
we were wondering after Paul Skeens who they had. That was a question that came up in 2023
Ty
because we were
Floyd
like,
was. I mean, Ty Floyd was somewhat like Ty Floyd was like either a 15 strikeout or a 15 walk pitcher. You never knew which one you were
yeah,
going to get from one week to the next.
that was one thing there. You know, that was something to look at in like 2023 team here. You know, they had the bats. This team doesn't quite have the power hitting that 23 team
But they're
had,
still batting over
but
300 as a team overall, though.
they're really they're fielding. That's the thing. I think Dickinson
They
made that
have like
error,
they
and I
have
think it
like
was
some
their
of the fewest errors committed as
like
a team
I
in the
think their
country
fielding
or
percentage
something.
was top 8 or top 7 in the country at that
Their
point.
fielding percentage is almost 990, so it's like really high.
Yeah, and that's what defense. That's the one thing that's gonna.
Not giving
Uh,
up extra base runners, not throwing away outs, and uh, not giving extra opportunities, basically.
yeah, and I think that's what you need in this kind of situation. Pitching will can silence any good hitting team. It can. Pitching is probably more important than hitting, I would say, because you can win baseball games with small ball,
Yep, because you don't need to score a lot of runs when the pitching's
and you don't need to
solid.
score a lot of runs if that pitcher is holding it down on that mound.
LSU's got two studs on that starting
Like
spot.
Case and Evans. He got at first when he got in there, I was like, man, he needs to right that ship because they were really banking on him, and he pulled through. That was a
Yeah,
great
he
performance.
pulled through, but he kind of had a rough start. But he kind of got put in a jam
Well,
from
yeah,
Zach Cowan's
yeah,
base runner. So
it kind of sucked with the situation he got put in, but um, it takes a while. Like, I mean, it can take a while for a pitcher to find his groove when he gets out there on the mound, trying
yeah,
to hit
then he
his
went to like
spots and his
nine
marks
straight
and stuff.
strikeouts after that.
Yeah, then he started rolling after that, and that propelled LSU to the win for sure. I think
It
along
allowed
with
the
Ethan
offense.
Fry.
It allowed the offense to come back and not give up any more runs for
Yeah, put a
sure.
nice little stop to Little Rock's offensive explosion they had in the second inning there. But
I ain't gonna lie, it kind of remind me of that meme, man. You know that meme with that guy, man. They had us in the first half. I ain't gonna lie.
you know what? Like
I was kind of thinking the same thing. They had us in the first half. I ain't
Stone,
gonna lie.
I just remember that Stony Brook time they went to Baton Rouge.
Yeah, that was a super regional too. I
Yeah,
remember that.
and yeah, I mean that haunts a lot of LSU fans' nightmares like a performance like that. But
That was like 12 years ago, or that was like 2013 or something.
yeah, uh,
But
but we'll see what happens there. I think how you got this going, Juice? You got this going 3 games or what? Will you think they take it in 2 games or
honestly, I'm gonna say it's gonna go. It could go. If it goes three, it's because the offense slacks one game. But honestly, if they start Anderson and Ianson back to back games, I honestly think they can knock this thing out in 2 games because they've been known to go because they usually average 7, 8 innings of start anyway. So the bullpen don't have to do much work. Hell, they both got a complete game under their belt this year, so that's not out the realm of possibility either. Jay Johnson might let them cut it loose and let them both throw 120, 130 pitches because it's you want to get to Omaha. So I mean, I think they're gonna win it. I mean, the pitching's gonna be there for sure.
let me ask you this question then before we kind of start wrapping it up here. Let's say Anderson goes in there, he wins Saturday. Do you save Ianson for Monday? or do you
Uh,
pitch or do you just throw Evans on Monday?
I think you know what. I think you throw Irons in game two because you know what, we got to win this thing. There ain't no. It's not like regionals. It's a normal 3 game series. I think you just throw Irons in there. You let them win because you're trying to win.
Yeah,
I don't think you try to push your luck to a game three.
I wouldn't want to go 3 games here. I thought I'd just ask the question, just kind of get what your insight was on it.
I
You know
think
how we
you just
roll.
go all out. You win the first 2 games. You don't want to make a game three and risk a
And
winner
you
take
get an extra
all.
day of rest too.
Hmm.
And that helps everybody. Guy might be hurt a little bit. That extra day could make a big difference to him.
I
So
think you
yeah,
let them try to go all 9 innings. If they cruising, I say just keep them in there as long as the wheels are rolling.
Juicy, who you got winning this series?
Definitely, we're gonna give LSU this one, especially in Alex box. And like I said, they obviously have a way better home record. They play better at home. The pitching's there. I think LSU's gonna win this one in two.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna piggyback off of you. I think they'll take it in two. I think uh I think that Anderson goes in the first game. I think Jay Johnson's gonna pitch Ison game two. I think that's the way he's gonna do it here. And just if they drop one of those games, throw Evans in there in game three and just have him try to clean it all up and hopefully have another good performance like he did against Little Rock this past Monday night. So I think that's the way they're gonna do it here. I got LSU going 2-0. I think they win their first 2 games of that series and punch their ticket to Omaha. And we'll see how it goes at that point there.
All we can do is just all hopes together. All we can do is hope it comes together in Omaha.
Yeah. Right now is the time to peak. Is all I'm saying. If
All I'm
you
saying is right now, let's just take it. Let's just get through the super regionals. Then we'll worry about Omaha.
right now you have to start peaking. This is the time of year that you need to be playing your best baseball because if you're not, you're going to be eliminated. That's all
That's
there
right.
is to it. You got to play your best baseball right now because if you ain't doing it right there, they ain't got no hope for you there. So I think that's all for the Fishbowl Sports Radio here tonight. Here, like us on all our social media pages here on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We post highlights from the game, and we always give credit to where we got the videos from here. Because LSU posted out there to the world, so we kind of just grab them on there too, and just we make sure to tag them and stuff like that. So. Um, I think this is gonna be a very good series. We'll see what happens with that there. But I got LSU winning in 2 games. UC got them winning in 2 games here. So LSU, I think, will end up in Omaha like I predicted. I said they play at home, they'll be in Omaha. So thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a great, wonderful night. We're gonna see y'all here next time here on the Fishbowl Sports Radio. You know, you can catch us anywhere. Facebook, like I said, Facebook. You know, YouTube. We post our episodes on YouTube, Facebook.
Mhm.
And we post highlights on TikTok and stuff. So thank you for tuning in. See y'all
Good
next
night,
time here on
Fishbowl.
Fishbowl Sport Radio.